What's going on, everybody? This is the episode number 45 of the First and Framerates podcast. I am your host, VF Baller, and today I'm going to talk about a lot of topics pertaining to sports and sports gaming, mostly in the football realm. A lot of things have been going on the past few weeks. If you want to check this podcast out, you can catch me on SoundCloud, you can catch me on iTunes. Just search both First and Framerates. You'll find it there. My two co-hosts that are usually here, they pretty much have their own situations going on. They're not going to be here once again today. But, like we said from the beginning, for the most part, we've been doing this just for fun. Haven't really taken it to the next level to make it anything permanent or serious for that matter. So I know they have lives as well. So I'm not going to pressure them to try to get here and try to do the podcast because there's other things that they have to do on their time. But for me, I want to try to keep this going, this ongoing thing. So I hope you guys really check us out. Like I said, SoundCloud, iTunes. I'm trying to get this on other platforms. Just search First and Framerates. I also put the podcast up on YouTube as well a few days after this podcast is uploaded to those other platforms. So you can always check us out there as well. That's going to be under the Silent Gamer YouTube channel. So you can check us out of those three areas, and that's how the best way to catch us. And I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, various topics I want to get into. First of all, as the time of this podcast, the college football playoff rankings have come out. We want to discuss those real quick. Also, I want to talk about this Reuben Foster situation, how that is turned out, him getting signed by the Redskins. Also, I want to talk about the Green Bay Packers because it seems like that's a team that's pretty much fallen from grace. And we're going to talk about the changes that may or may not need to change there. And I want to close it out with a couple of topics that I got from a couple people on my Twitter page. And you can also catch me on Twitter at VF Baller as well. So the two topics there, we're going to talk about a little bit of gaming, and it's going to be pertaining to Madden and possibly another company making a football game. What are my thoughts about those? Pretty much it just ties into another company making the game and just giving out my thoughts about it. So we'll get into those. But first, we're going to talk about these college playoff rankings. Looked like everything got shaken up a little bit once Michigan lost to Ohio State. Ohio State jumps up to number 6. So they're on the outside looking in, as well as Oklahoma. Oklahoma is up to number 5. Number 4, Georgia jumps up to number 4, and so they're in the playoff. And if everything was to be set in stone right now, obviously you have the 3 teams that are undefeated right now: Notre Dame 3, Clemson number 2, Alabama's number 1. UCF is not getting any love; they're number 8, and I don't see them getting any love for the most part. I think they are undefeated, yes they are. But I don't think they have the pedigree to actually say they need to be in the playoff. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think they played anybody with a winning record this year. And I hate for it to be used against them, but the fact that their quarterback went down with a really, really bad knee injury, that kind of messed everything up for them as far as them making a case. So with that being said, Georgia goes back to the scene of the crime where Alabama beat them in the national title game. That's going to be happening this Saturday as of this recording. Number 4 versus number 1, the SEC championship game. These two are going to be playing for the SEC title. That's going to be a very interesting game. I know a lot of people are still trying to pull for Georgia because people are tired of seeing Alabama win. I'm from Georgia, so I would love to see that happen. But I'm just looking at. I mean, I don't think Alabama is necessarily a juggernaut as if they were like years past. Don't get me wrong; they're a very good team, but it's just that some teams they let some teams hang around for a little bit too long. Some teams actually scored on them pretty well. They have a fantastic quarterback, but outside of that, I don't see any like weapons on offense like I'm normally seeing. It's kind of like the opposite of what Alabama usually do. Alabama usually have like a mediocre quarterback with a bunch of weapons around him. Now it's the other way around. Don't get me wrong. Judy is very fast. They have a pretty decent running game, but I'm not seeing that explosive type of offense that what the other skill players are doing. You know, Tua is amazing, and for the most part, it looked like he's just been, I'm not saying necessarily carrying them, but he's been making the offense go, and it's very uncharacteristic for an Alabama team. The defense has always been there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I think at the end of the day, I just think they're going to shut Georgia down. It's just something about Alabama. They always try to find a way to win a game, and I think Georgia has a really good shot, but it's just something about Alabama. I think they're just going to shut them down. It may be a close game, but you just don't know, because sometimes Alabama keeps it close, and then again they'll just blow you out after toying with you for a while. So, but the national title game last year was, you went into overtime, and it was a great game. But you don't have Roquan Smith anymore. You know, you don't have Sonny Michel. You don't have Nick Chubb. You know, so I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, the way I look at it is Alabama's just been dominant for so long. So I don't know how that's going to play out as far as how dominant they're going to be. But I am leaning towards Alabama to win the game, and it hurts me as a Georgia fan to say that, but I just think that's what's going to happen. Clemson is playing Pitt. I don't really care about that game. You know, I think Clemson's going to take Pitt easily. So as far as I'm concerned, those are the games that I'm looking at as far as the playoff picture goes. If Georgia loses, like I said, they may well lose. Who gets it next? Is it Ohio State or Oklahoma? Ohio State lost to Purdue, and but they turned around, they did beat Michigan. So it's like it's a toss up there. I can't remember who Oklahoma lost to. I might have to look that up, to be honest with you. Okay. Oklahoma lost to Texas earlier this year, and what happened with that, they lost by 3, and now they got to go back and play Texas again for the Big 12 title. That they have to go back to the scene of the crime as well and try to right the wrong, and I think that this go around, I think Oklahoma will take that. If Oklahoma takes that, I think it's going to be pretty much a good case that they could get back in. Ohio State, they have the Big Ten championship against Northwestern. It's just going to be, I think the fact that Texas is a more formidable opponent, I think that's the reason why they will end up winning. So I'm more inclined to say that that's what's going to happen. Northwestern is number 19th in the country, but at the same time, it's not Texas. Texas is 14th, so they may get the nod. Oh, I'm sorry, Northwestern is 21st. So yeah, that just makes more the case for Oklahoma to possibly get in if both of those teams decide to win their games. So we're looking at a whole situation of what Georgia may do. If Georgia wins, oh man, that's going to be really it's going to be real interesting, because how far does Alabama fall? If everybody wins and Alabama loses, is Alabama out? That's going to be a tough one. So because it's they are number 4, and maybe they do drop to number 4. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting, because it got a situation where those two will probably end up swapping. Me personally, I would like to see Alabama out if Georgia wins, because I just want to see something different in the national title game. But hey, who am I? I mean, we all like to see stuff different, but we never know what we may get. So I just think that is interesting. Just let me know what your thoughts. You can always hit me up on Twitter at VFBaller. Find out what my response to your response is, and that could be pretty fun. I mean, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can always hit this the comment section down below, and you can check that out as well. So really interested in how that's going to play out. I'm very interested to see how that goes. So just let me know. Let's jump to the next topic real quick. This topic is somewhat a little touchy feely. I mean, he kind of got away from it from at one point, and it just jumps back up in the limelight. You got Reuben Foster. He got arrested again for domestic violence. He has been arrested numerous times on suspicion of domestic violence. He also been arrested with threats, assault weapon possession. And this was like as early as this year. This happened in 2018, and he comes back later up in April. He was, let's see, his girlfriend said that he did not strike her or threaten her, and the domestic violence was claimed after Foster attempted to end the relationship, and it ended up having his girlfriend testify that she fabricated the story as a money scheme. So it's just a lot of weird stuff going on. Now, turn around, just a few days ago, he's been arrested on probable cause of the misdemeanor domestic violence, and he was released by the 49ers. So you just got a lot of stuff going on with this guy, and for him to turn around and get picked up by the Redskins, the NFL already stated they're going to put him on an exempt list, which is me personally, I think he should be out of the league at this point. This is getting real ridiculous. I'm not saying permanently, but he should be out for some time because it's just too much going on here for him to continue to be a part of the NFL as a player. How many chances do you think you need to get? And I've seen on Twitter where a lot of people was already talking about the situation with Colin Kaepernick. He's not in the league, but this guy continues to get chances over and over again. Like I said, I don't think he should not be in the league. He needs to spend some time at home doing something else because this is just too much. It's just too many times in this year alone. And I'm not even talking about the one he had in January. January, he's been arrested for possession of marijuana. I mean, I know that's, marijuana. Okay, they have been gotten really lenient on the marijuana stuff. But, at the end of the day, it's still adding up to the other stuff behind it. The marijuana charge is one thing. But when you have the other stuff along with it and you still were able to get signed by another team, what does that say about the NFL? I mean, you have a player here that's constantly getting in trouble. I mean, he's been in trouble at least on 3 occasions this year alone, and he ended up getting signed by the Washington Redskins. Now, this whole situation with Washington Redskins, I think they came out with a statement or something like that, which is like, I mean, I don't even want to read the statement because to me it's pointless to do so. I don't see there's a reason you need to have a statement with this situation because, I mean, what are you going to tell us? Just tell us something that, some PR junk that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can look at the statement and see what it really talks about. Statement made by Washington Redskins Vice President of Player Personnel, Doug Williams, and I quote, "This is what he said. Today we have claimed the rights of linebacker Reuben Foster. The Redskins fully understand the severity of the recent allegations made against Reuben. If true, you can be assured that these allegations are nothing our organization will ever condone. Let me be clear." This is Doug Williams. "Let me be clear. Reuben will have to go through numerous steps, including the full legal process and investigation and potential discipline for the NFL, as well as meeting with counselors associated." Now, hold on. Now, if you're doing all that, why are you signing this guy? He has to go through all this stuff. Why would you sign him? I don't get it. I'm gonna keep going on with this. With that being said, we decided to investigate the situation with Reuben further by claiming his rights after candid conversations with a number of his ex-Alabama teammates and current Redskin players who are overwhelmingly supportive of us taking this chance. So basically, the players are pretty much signing other players to the team. I mean, look, I don't have a problem with players helping other players get jobs or nothing like that. But it becomes a time where you're like, wait a minute. Maybe he need to cool down for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Alden Smith. I mean, with Alden Smith, he was like a ticking time bomb ready to go. So it was just, when you saw that was brewing. And, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. But all right, let me finish the quote. Let me finish the quote. Nothing is promised to Reuben, but we're hopeful being around so many of his former teammates and friends will eventually provide him with the best possible environment to succeed both personally and professionally. And like I said, this whole situation is not a bad look. I mean, I'm sorry, it is a bad look by the Redskins. I really wish DJ was here to really talk about this. I know like I said, he's not here right now, but I know he'll have a lot to say when he does return. But this is absolutely, I don't get it when you have a guy who decides to take a knee over social injustice, which I have my my ups and downs about that. I'll just put it on the record. I'm not 100% behind the actual protest, but I'm actually 100% what he's protesting for. When, like I said in previous, once it gets to a point where it got out of hand, it just, it got hijacked by other people and it just went out of a loop. So it was like at the point where it needed to come back to what it was all about. It's all about, unarmed black men getting shot down by these officers, but people took it to another level where it's just, it was uncontrollable at that point. I have my ups and downs about that, but nevertheless, Kaepernick can't get a job. He did nothing nowhere near as hurtful as what Reuben Foster did. I mean, you have other players in the league that had the same thing. I mean, who was the guy that played for the, he played for the Cowboys and played for the Panthers. I think Greg Hardy, I think this is his name. Same situation. I mean, they had like serious evidence on him. But I don't want to make it into a Kaepernick situation, but it just shows you the hypocrisy of the NFL. Just let stuff like this ride. I mean, I'm actually surprised Ray Rice did not get a job back yet. Seriously, I mean, I know he was the face of the whole situation, of the domestic violence situation, but at the end of the day, if you're going to let stuff like this fly, why don't he get a job back? But I mean, there's nothing else I need to add to. I just think it's really ridiculous that why this guy is getting another chance. I see what Doug Williams was saying, but I mean, you're doing so much for this guy who's had so many situations done, so many legal situations in 1 year, when you could have had somebody who's just trying to make it and try to do something in the NFL, could have gave them that slot and tried to mold a pretty much a stand-up guy and a citizen that does not have a record or any legal issues, could have put them in that spot compared to, Reuben Foster. Now, don't get me wrong. I know his talent is there, but when you have all this situation going on, I don't see how, personally, I don't see how he gets, I don't see how he got signed. But, I mean, hey, maybe I'm in the minority. Let me know. Hit me up on First and Frame. I'm sorry, you can hit me up on First and Frame Rates on SoundCloud, where you can let me know what you think there. Or if you like or dislike as far as what you like at this part of the podcast, or you can just hit me up on Twitter at VFBaller. You can let me know what you think there as well. And once again, if you are listening to this on YouTube, you can leave your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that. Okay, I had a couple of other topics pertaining to sports gaming in the football era. We had a couple of guys that's on my Twitter, a couple of my followers. You can catch them, catch me on, like I said, on Twitter, VFBaller. You can catch me there at any time, and you can ask me any question. If you have a topic you want to be discussed on here, I can discuss it, or if my co-hosts are here, all three of us can discuss it together. If I have any guests at any time, you can discuss it there as well. But that's what it's for. You can always check us out there, and we can give you a comment there, and we can also put it on the podcast as well. Basically, when I was looking at the comments on my Twitter feed about what we want to talk about or whatever, basically this whole thing about 2K football. 2K football, and not just 2K football, just any football game coming back and or coming out that could be, would they be relevant? I think the situation with 2K, I think 2K just don't care on their end, but on our end, I think it has impacted heavily on the football gaming industry. It doesn't matter how well NFL 2K5 was an all-pro football 2K8. Just the fact that they have not put anything out on the back end basically gave us nothing but Madden. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if it just gave Madden a situation where they can just chill for an extended amount of time. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and people may not want to believe this, Madden has just now started to improve on what they should have been improving on back in maybe 2009, 2010. That's just my opinion about it. Now, do I think it's a bad game? No, I think Madden has gotten better since Madden 25, but not on the level where I want it to be. I think Madden 25 and a couple others since then has been good games to play. I don't think they've been a full-on sim like we wanted to be. Or I don't think it has been as sim as 2K football, but it has its moments. I'm not here to, to bash the game or whatever, but the fact that 2K has not made a football game or any other company made a football game to actually put, Madden in a position to, really try to do something on the back end, similar to what NBA Live is doing, where they're really trying to put that game up on the map as a really good basketball game. I think Madden is just now starting to catch its stride, and it's kind of unfortunate because we've been looking for something like this for almost 9-10 years, but that's just my opinion about it, and I think 2K's impact is still is a big impact because despite the legacy of Madden, and I thought Madden back then was just the standard. It was a fantastic football game back on the PS2 days. Don't get me wrong, 2K had a good game in its own right, possibly one of the best football games I've ever played in 2K5. But the fact that 2K has just been there for 14 years. People have very fond memories of that game. Even from the guys who were around when that game came out up until people who just found out for the first time about that game. I have a family friend. The kid come over up here to my game room and wants to play 2K5 at all times. It's just amazing. The modern community, NFL2K5rosters.com. Also, you have All Pro 2K8 with their modding and stuff. They're still doing, SFL is still doing games on their Twitch and YouTube, live streaming like a real league. I think it's fantastic how they got that going. But on the flip side of that, the impact is on the flip side of that. We really would love to see 2K do something. There's nothing stopping them from doing another All-Pro football or unlicensed game or whatever the case may be. And speaking of unlicensed, we had another topic that someone sent to me, and they asked, is there any chance for another company to make another football game, or is it too late? Or also, do they need to have the NFL license to be relevant? This is a very good question, and I'm glad that this was brought up because this is something that's always been, debated, especially since I've, started doing, videos on YouTube, or, when I was doing those and the sports videos on YouTube, or when I started the podcast. This is something that has been brought up a lot, and I never really went into how I feel about it. So here it goes. I think there's a very good chance for another company to make a football game. And I'm not talking about, you see Axis out there, you see, Canucks football, you see a couple other people making football games. They're doing great in their own lane. I remember when Axis started as an indie game on PC, now it's on consoles. He's done a fantastic job with his game. We had a couple other games that made it to consoles, doing great. But I'm pretty sure this topic is basically pertaining to a AAA title. Let's just say like my last episode of the podcast when I talked about Pro Yaku Spirits, them Konami making a baseball game. Would you flip that and see if they made a football game? Or let's just say if Sony decides to make a football game, do it have to be licensed? Or what about the quality? Is it too late to even worry about a game because it might not be as good quality as Madden or hell even 2K football for that matter? But like I said, I think it's a chance. I mean, any game could get off the ground and be successful. It's all about what they put in the game and how well it's perceived. You know, I mean, you just can't put anything out there and expect people to buy it. So with that being said, you really have to put your best foot forward if you put a game out like that, even if it's unlicensed. I mean, it would not hurt. Especially if it's unlicensed, I think it's low risk. And I know I'm talking low risk because, you know, it does take a lot to make a game. But I'm speaking of low risk based on other, you know, titles that are out there. And if everything goes well, you could possibly make a profit off of it and build off of that. You know, I mean, you just never know how that may go. But like I said, with that being said, I think there's a really good chance that a company can make a football game and be successful. And also, do they need the shield to be relevant? I'm almost like 80-20 to that. I think 80, yes, they need the shield, and no on the 20. And the 20% of this is like, if the gameplay is good, people will play it. You know, I mean, they will. And on top of that, they may not even need the shield. What if they can get a little bit of college teams? Or what if they can get the college license back? You never know how that may play out because that's still in litigation. What if they get the college license? You know, you never know how that may go. Because I can tell you now, I'm not sure if the college license is open back up again. I'm not sure if that will be technically exclusive like the NFL license. I don't think it will this go around. But if it doesn't have to be Shield, you know, it could be, you know, and I know the customization is always a avenue. I don't know how big that would be. Honestly, people talk a good game, but then again, when it's time to customize and this, that, and the third, you have the people that was willing to customize and do great. They do a great job, but the people who receive the customization, let's say if, okay, I got the NFL teams on this game, and not too many people are really willing to go through all of that to actually get the teams on the game. You know, I mean, that's just me. I mean, casually speaking, you know, I think NCAA 14 did a very good job with their team builder, but NCAA 14 already had a base. They already had the authentic teams of 126 college teams already. So that was an incentive for you to buy the game and then turn around and get the team builder for your 1AA or FCS teams on there. So that, yeah, I know that NCAA football did a fantastic job with it, but that's what happens when you have it on the back end. The back end of that is you already have, you know, those teams already. Well, a full unlicensed game, people are just going to look at it on the surface and be like, I may not be interested in that. But I think the gameplay will pull it. But it just all, at the end of the day, it's all about how it's marketed and how much money they can bring back on the back end. That's basically what it is. So I think those are pretty much what, you know, what will make it as far as those two topics. I think it's never too late to make a game, no matter what the game is. You know, I think you will be able to be successful. It just all depends on how you put it out there, and I think it'll be successful if it's just done right. Good gameplay, possibly easy customization, or if the teams that you have on there just have that attitude to gravitate people. So I think that'll be fantastic if they can pull that off. And as far as 2K, how did the impact is still felt today? 2K is, I mean, I said this in a podcast a couple weeks back. NFL 2K5 is still an amazing football game to this day. I'm still having a blast with that game, and I absolutely love it. I think it's great, and I'm a big fan of the game. I mean, I've played that game extensively throughout its lifespan. I put hundreds and hundreds of hours of time in that game. I just love it. I love every bit of it, and I just can't get enough of it. So the impact on my end, I know it's been a huge impact in my gaming, and I love it. I love the game today, and I still play it today. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode of First and Frame Rates. Once again, I'm your host, VF Baller. This is episode 45. If you always want to follow me on Twitter, it's at VF Baller. If you want to follow us on SoundCloud, you can just look up First and Frame Rates. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just click the link in the SoundCloud link in the description. Also, if you want to subscribe to us on iTunes, I really recommend you guys subscribing on iTunes. It makes the numbers go up, and once the numbers go up, it gets more relevant. More people can see what we're doing, and like I said, we can see if we can make this hobby go bigger than what it is, and we can probably do more with the podcast. I have a couple more things in the works in the beginning of the year. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I got some things in the works to possibly have a little bit more expansion of the podcast, and I'm definitely going to pull that out there, put that out there when the time is right. But I do appreciate you guys listening and really enjoying the podcast. Just let me know. Give me any feedback, any other topics you want to discuss. Always hit me up on VF Baller. You can always hit up my other co-host, which is DJ81. That's DJ. And you can also hit Bills up at Bills 4th. And we'll always be here making content for you. Even when these guys aren't around, I know they have busy lives. There'll be times I may not be around as well. And we're just going to be here to try to do the best we can at the end of the day. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And you guys take care. We'll see you next time. Peace.